All right, so I want to show you first inserting into the database. So we can insert, we have our connection, we're connected to the database. Now I want to go and insert. So I'm printing out a message saying insert into the database. Now I can have SQL commands. So I can execute, I call it the string SQL. Why did I call it SQL? Because that's what it is. It's going to contain my SQL. And we're going to insert into the student table. Let me show you how the student table looks. This is my student table. You can see I've been doing a lot of tests. So it has my typical Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson, and then I've been adding some tests. So you have an ID, which is our primary key and has to be unique or you're going to get an error. And we have our student name. So let's go back to our code. I'm in JGRESP and here I am. Now this is the last one I did. So if I want, obviously I'm going to get, if I ran this again, I would get an error because the primary key has to be unique. So let's run this again. It shouldn't work. Right, duplicate entry for a primary key. So if we want this to work, we have to change it. So let's say 1008, and instead of Rachel Adler, let's put another student name. We will put Jack Smith. So this is the string SQL, and then we pass into the execute update, this execute update method. So now running this, and now it should have inserted Jack Smith into our table because it's just, it's calling this SQL command, which is a typical SQL command that we've done over and over and over again. And now I'm just doing it in JGRESP, but it shouldn't matter. We're connected to the database. So let's see if it worked. Let's look for Jack Smith. Go back here, edit, select star from student, run, and you can see it's ordered by my primary key. So Jack Smith is now in the table. Jack Smith was not in the table before. Rachel Adler was, but Jack Smith was not. But one thing I don't like about this, I love it that it works and it's really cool that we can use an application, but what I don't like about this is it's not really the way applications work. Usually you don't hard code names. I don't know which students are going to register for my class. I don't know which students are enrolling in the university. You probably want someone just to enter the information because you don't know who it is in advance. And how many times can you actually really code someone's name in advance? That's really not so realistic. So I want to do it in a little friendlier way. And this is really coming from Basic Programming 1. I put in my scanner. Here's my second attempt to make it look a little nicer. Instead of knowing who my student is right away. Here it's a very similar thing, but instead I'm going to use my scanner, my keyboard, and I'm going to say enter your name, enter your ID. So here I'm going to get the information. And of course, it might be nicer if I had first name and last name separate fields, but I was just, being a little fast and sloppy by putting the student name in just for testing purposes. But I could have enter your first name, and then it would be not a next line, enter your last name, and that would look a little nicer. But this is just to show my point. So I'm going to enter their name, enter your ID, and now I don't have to know that you're 10007 Jack Smith. We can decide in theory this could be in a loop until you're done entering, So very typical programming 1, first thing you'd be learning about how to use a scanner. So let me run this. So run, so it should ask me enter your name. So that's my first one, enter my name. It's going to get stored in a variable name. Then it's going to ask me to enter an ID. It's going to get stored into an integer ID. And then here you can see, because this is a variable, I couldn't leave the word ID in here because it's a variable, and otherwise it would just print out ID name. So I had to surround it by these plus to show this is a variable. And this one I also had to put these single quotes because it's a string, and we always put single quotes around strings, so I did it like this. But this name is a variable also. So let's enter my name. What's my name now? I'm really bad at thinking up new names. So let's do Elizabeth Bennett. All right, so my name is Elizabeth Bennett, and my ID number is 10009. Now, I did this, so this looks a little nicer. I didn't have to hard code in their values. And if we come here, let's select star from student, and we can see now Elizabeth Bennett got added in with ID 1009, and she didn't exist before, but now we were able to on the spot decide, who's enrolling for which student is enrolling, which student is, and we were able to ask, oh, you want to register, you want to enroll, and that of course looks a little nicer for a user-friendly application, not to hard code the names, but to get the names.